Go. Good morning, Molweni. Happy Monday. Today, I'm recording this. It's 10:43. 10:43 on a Monday morning. No one is having a blue Monday, I'm hoping. But goeiemorgen. We're happy to be back again with episode number 46. And this time I'm alone. I'm alone, but I'm not alone. Obviously, I've got a guest. So I normally co-host this podcast with someone. And I'm very excited about what we're going to be speaking about here. And I know this is not your first time in this building, and a lot of girls might be familiar with you, even the staff members, you know. You were previously here as a speech therapist, introducing Inga. Welcome to Rustenburg Girls Junior Podcast.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And how's life been after Rustenburg?
Life is busy, but I will always miss Rustenburg. Rustenburg has a place in my heart.
Yeah. No, we say that once a rusty bug, always a rusty bug. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's get to the juice of today. Let's do a brief introduction in what is it that you do?
So I'm a speech and language therapist.
Yes.
I treat anything communication related difficulties, from little 18-month-olds to adults who've been in car accidents or had strokes.
Yeah.
So anything to do with speech and language.
Yeah. So in a day-to-day, okay, let's focus on the little ones. I want to focus on the little ones. Just tell me exactly what goes into that office. Why would my daughter need to see you?
So generally, one thinks of speech as, so I'm not an elocutionist. I'm not going to make your daughter speak beautifully.
Yes.
I'm there to not fix children, to treat children who have language or communication difficulties.
Okay.
Because communication encompasses a lot.
Yes.
It's how you speak, it's your vocab, sentences, what we call pragmatics, which is intonation pattern, being able to turn take, your grammar.
Yes.
So any difficulty in that area, you might need the support of a speech therapist.
Okay, perfect. So now, before we get into the meat, let's first start from the beginning. What made you have this interest in going into speech therapy as a child? Did something make you want to go into this profession?
I think I love language from a child.
Yes.
So, I read books.
Yes.
I loved the fact that we did Shakespeare every year in school.
Yeah.
I loved plays. I just love all languages. So yes, I did have a passion for speech and language.
Yeah. Did you were you one of those kids that would correct other children?
Yes, I was the grammar nerd.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So then let's speak about when you're in your office and having that private session with the kids. Ideally, what type of kid would come see you? What type of child would it be? Would the teacher identify a certain problem, or what happens before they come to see you?
So often the teacher does, but I think there are parents that also approach a speech therapist because they realize their child is not communicating, or friends and family are not understanding them.
Yeah.
So it could be teacher referral or parent referral.
Okay.
And then they come with a variety of problems. You'll have the little ones who can't say their S's or can't say their R's.
Yes.
You'll have the ones who just aren't talking at all.
Yes.
You'll have children who can't get the literacy going, so they're struggling to read or write. So there's a range. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Every child is going to give you something different.
Yeah. It's very amazing that you mentioned that there's so many different courses or so many different elements into this. I had one friend of mine I know that started speaking at about 5, and the parents thought like there was like autism during that time and so forth. But let's touch on the different. Do you call them? What do you call them? Is it spectrum or what?
So you can get different underlying causes.
Yes.
So a child might have communication or speech difficulties because they have cerebral palsy.
Yes.
So then there is a muscle weakness.
Yeah.
Or you might have a child on the autism spectrum, and that always has language, speech, varying degrees.
Yeah.
Or you may have a child who's had a cleft palate or a cleft lip, and they're going to need speech therapy.
Yeah.
Or children who are deaf or hard of hearing.
Yeah.
They're going to need. So a child can present with a communication or speech problem, but have an underlying reason, and everyone's different.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I want to speak about the importance of the role of your job, the teacher's job, and the parents. So the teacher identifies the issue, brings it to your attention, you do the work. But how important is that work that you do between yourself and what happens during school hours and outside of school hours? Because I don't think we should only limit to whatever exercise or activities that you train them when they're in this building, what happens at home. But so the real question is the relationship between the teacher, between yourself, and between the parents.
I see your child maybe once a week.
Yes.
The parents are with the child all the time. So
Yeah.
for me, the critical factor is parent involvement.
Okay.
I'm there
Yeah.
to guide the parent.
Yes.
So the exercises I do with your child for that half an hour, you're going to know what we're working on, but you're going to have to carry it on.
Okay.
And you can see when there is home involvement
Okay.
and when they're just seeing me.
Yes.
And then I can work with the teacher, but the teacher's got a whole class, so she
Yes.
can monitor certain aspects. But parents are crucial.
Yes.
Crucial.
So then the parents you'd give them the tools.
I'd give them the tools.
Okay.
Because language is so broad that it's very intimidating for a parent to think, well, where
Yes.
or what am I going to do
Yes.
to fix this? So if you
Yeah.
give them little bit by little bit, it's more manageable.
Okay.
They know what to do, but they are crucial.
Yeah. I like the fact that you're speaking about like the parents, that they are with the children all the time, the teachers, obviously there's a whole class, and they are maybe first term, 3 months, and then there's a break. The parents still have the kids on weekends and during that time. But what are the early signs that parents can be in the lookout for and say, I need my child to go see a speech therapist?
I think what I would like to get across is that parents often want to wait. They're
Yes.
going to grow out of it.
Uh-huh.
And I think what parents need to realize is that your average child by the age of 5
Sure.
has established all their grammar.
Sure.
By the age of 8, they have adult conversation skills.
Yes.
So your window of opportunity is very narrow. And it's between the 0 to 7 that they're like little sponges.
Yes.
That's their natural sort of acquisition period.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is for parents not to wait. And
Yeah.
they tend to want to wait. But my advice with language is not to wait.
Yeah.
Rather seek advice. It doesn't mean you have to put your child in therapy.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need the therapist to tell you different things to do,
Yeah.
different approaches, but not to wait. And because communication is something we do every day, all day, we forget how hard it is.
Yeah.
We forget all the things we're doing automatically,
Yeah.
and we take it for granted.
Sure. It's so amazing that you mentioned that, because I did a podcast with our occupational therapist, and she was speaking about the importance of really doing it at a very young age, because they are sponges, and how there's a difference between maybe when the grade R comes and when the grade 3 comes, because at that time, it's still much more, I don't want to use the word easier, but they can...
Is easier.
Okay, it is easier. Yes, let's use that word. It is easier at that time, and here you're sitting here and you're saying exactly the same thing. What are the things in practice that you do with the kids in that office? Let's make a practical example. Do you teach them how to say, I know this is musicians.
Sometimes,
Yes. I see musicians doing that, and voice warming and all of those things.
So if the child has an oral motor problem, so it's a muscle thing,
Yes.
then yes, you're doing almost physio for
Okay.
your tongue and your lips,
Okay.
and you're carrying it over into the sounds that they're having difficulties there.
Yeah. I want to touch on now the confidence part and what this does to a child from a psychological point of view, right? And the work that you do. How important does that part play in terms of, does a child maybe come see you that she then or he thinks that there is something wrong with me, then it affects her self-esteem, her confidence. And after seeing you, she's like, okay, now I'm picking up. Now, not that they had like learning difficulties, just that one area from a speech point of view. And after seeing you, have you seen something like that?
All the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as I said, we talk all the time. And children aren't kind. So if you're doing your oral or you're on the playground and they're not understanding you, you are on the back foot.
Yeah.
So yes, improving that gives you confidence. And if you can say what you want to say, when you want to say it, you're going to be more confident.
Yeah.
And it's going to help your social interactions enormously.
Yes. Okay. And then what are some of the simplest activities that parents can do at home to strengthen their children's communication skills?
So we forget to talk to our children. You know, parents will say there's no time. But there's a lot of time in traffic.
Yes.
And there's a lot of time in shopping or doing daily activities.
Yes.
We forget just to talk.
Yes.
You know, on the car trip home to comment on the building site.
Yes.
Or the person crossing the road. Or the road works.
Yeah.
Or the bird that flew over.
Yeah.
Talking is the most important thing. And the other thing is not anticipating your child's needs.
Yeah.
So parents will say, but my little one isn't talking. And then you'll say, and when you sort of chat to them, you realize that the little one doesn't need to talk. His snacks are provided regularly. His toys are low. He can reach them. There's no need to talk.
Okay.
So you've got to make things harder.
Yes.
Don't anticipate. Wait for them to communicate.
Okay. And is there challenges with, like, obviously the new generation and the new kids that we are bringing in, technology, screen time? It's really now taking over the talking, you know.
Screen time does. I think what you want to do is, everyone says limited, etc.
Yeah.
I think you want to be careful on the types of programs, because I often have these children coming with this really strange sounding speech.
Yeah.
And it's all those sort of Japanese anime cartoons.
Yeah.
Or they've got little American accents.
Yeah.
So they are sponges. They're going to take on the thing they watch every day.
Yeah.
And then look at the pace of the show that your child is watching. So those superhero things, it's just this color and this movement.
Yeah.
But there's no language. They're just, it's fast.
Yeah.
But if you have a quieter, slower
story
thing, you're going to get better language stimulation.
Okay. No worries. Let's then speak about how has this speech therapy evolved in schools in the recent years.
I think it's become more and more important.
Yeah.
I've seen such a drop in sort of the level of language use in children.
Yeah.
So it has become more and more important.
Okay. And then does things like technology work in your field? Do you do
I
online?
use it.
You know,
I do.
We go into a Zoom or whatever with the kids.
So I found that beneficial, especially for children. I mean, I've had children in the Eastern Cape or far away who aren't close to a speech therapist.
Yeah.
So online has opened up the opportunity for
lovely.
them, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
And you can very much do speech therapy online.
Yeah.
So that was for me.
Yeah.
I think COVID, the pro of COVID.
Yeah. I want to, now that you're speaking about COVID, I want to speak about the challenges that you face in your profession with kids more specifically. What are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in the recent years or in the time you've been a speech therapist?
What do you mean by
me
personally or the children presenting?
Well, whether be a new case that comes to you that literally has to involve maybe a psychologist, maybe 10 different professions, and it's like really difficult. I've never seen something like that. Has that happened? What are some of the challenges? Or parents maybe saying, no, what you're saying is wrong. My child does not have that problem. You know what I mean?
You often get parents who take a while to accept the diagnosis. Especially if you say there's a child with many issues. They have behavioral issues.
Yeah.
They have perceptual issues. They have physical issues.
Sure.
So they've seen a lot of professionals.
Yeah.
So you kind of get therapy overload.
Yeah.
But I don't think the range of children has differed much.
Yeah.
But there are more children that seeming to need therapy.
Okay.
I don't know. I think almost what's happened is perhaps we're diagnosing more easily.
Yeah.
There are more children.
Yeah. Has there been a case where the issue is not necessarily the child, but the environment at home, where if you fix the environment, then it obviously has a ripple effect on the child?
So environment for language is very important. So environment does impact significantly on language. And especially, I think what we're seeing a lot is second language. So a speech therapist is a second language teacher.
Yeah.
But you've now got a school system that has their language of instruction. Yeah. And then you've got more and more children whose home language is not the school's language.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many ways of introducing your second language. But what breaks my heart is that so many parents then want the school's language of instruction to become the language. And the children are losing their home language.
Sure.
And you need a solid language to acquire another language. And if you disregard your home language, you end up with neither language being good.
Sure.
So I think there is a need to advise parents on how to introduce a second language.
Okay. I want to touch on the wins now, the exciting moments, and we don't have to mention any child's name and all of those things, but case study where you think, you look in the mirror and you clap hands for yourself and you said that case.
Oh, yes.
Was just beautiful to watch the results.
Yes.
No mention of names. We can call child X or whatever.
I had this little girl,
Yeah.
and she was born with a very flaccid epiglottis, so she had to be intubated at birth.
Yeah.
So she didn't speak for 2 years. And so I saw her in her pre-grade aria, in her grade aria, in her grade 1 year, and she is speaking, she is reading, she is writing, she is interacting.
Yeah.
That was a journey that was amazing to be part of.
Sure. Okay. And then what are the things that we can give parents advice to do on a day-to-day basis?
So I think what's become forgotten is how important reading is.
Ah, lovely.
So I think parents get stressed. They think, I can't sit for an hour and read.
Yes.
They need to remember 5 minutes every day is better than an hour on the odd occasion.
Okay.
And it builds so much more than language.
Yeah.
It's that relationship you have with your child, where you have this special time where you read a story. So I think they underestimate the value of reading. You know, that princess book, it has a lot going for it.
Yeah. And I mean, one parent would argue that, hey, we live in a very fast-paced world. I go to work 6 a.m. until 5, 6. Then we still have to drive home. Then there's still like cooking food or whatever. Then there's still time to be eating. And then there's still time for...
Yes. When am I going to read a story?
Yeah, but I think it's important that you've highlighted the 5 minutes. You've really highlighted like, listen, because we're living in a very fast-paced environment, just take 5 minutes.
Yeah, you really do.
5 minutes.
And what you'll find with parents who take that 5 minutes is it is so rewarding. It has so much payback.
Yeah.
That 5 minute becomes a bit longer.
Yeah.
So yes, don't look at it as I've got to sit and read a book.
Yeah.
You've got to sit and spend 5 minutes
with your child. Okay. Perfect. I think any message that you'd like to send out to parents, to anyone watching this podcast, anything at all. Maybe say it in that camera.
Language is part of life. It's part of academics.
Yeah.
It's part of your child's social interactions. Because language is also part of reading and writing.
Yeah.
It affects their literacy. There's a window of opportunity, so you don't want to wait.
Yeah. And is there anything, in your opinion, that you think schools can do better from the classroom, from policy, from regulations, that can make the system a little bit better for everyone?
referring for therapy is important. Consolidating one language. You need a strong language from which to learn other languages. So you want to reinforce the child's strongest language. Once you can do that, the other languages will come so much more easily.
Okay. And then do you see any gaps from maybe teachers being able to identify the issue from a speech therapy point of view versus maybe the child having other difficulties?
Sort of what other difficulties?
So, for example, has a teacher ever referred a child to a speech therapist, and that's like a wrong perception? I don't know if they use perception or do you use professional. I don't know how they then judge to say this child needs a speech therapist.
Look, the teacher might on the odd occasion refer incorrectly, and I might say, well, really, you see, the problem is the teacher is assessing that child based on the other children in her class.
Okay.
And she might have a year where she's got really strong language children.
Okay.
So this little one looks really weak.
Yes.
She's referred, which is a good thing because she looks weak. But the therapist might assess her and say, well, according to my standardized test, she's age appropriate.
Yes.
So it's not wrong for the teacher, but it's also right to follow that up.
Okay.
So that might happen.
Okay. So I guess the good thing is that they then refer to a professional to say,
who says no, she's actually fine.
Got you.
Or there's this, the tests have shown that her vocab needs a bit of boosting, but these are things you can do at home. Or so,
Okay. No, perfect. Thank you very much. I think I appreciate the time that we spent together.
Thank you,
and thank you very much for joining us. Parents, you've had it here for the first time, and I think, listen, personally as a parent, I've taken a lot. I get to benefit in the education around this, and I also understand the difficulties of sometimes accepting diagnosis, sometimes having to go through that process, the emotions that comes with it, it's never easy, but I think what's important is that the child gets to see a profession. And then you know that at least you are dealing with the issue instead of maybe waiting for it until late and so forth. So I hope you also took some insights and learned a lot. And from us, we are out of here. Thank you.